Right. So you can decide to do it tomorrow. Just make sure you do it before your meal. All right. So let me start by talking about what is the science behind oil pulling. Okay. Um, I do believe that everybody knows that my first degree of interest of studies in microbiology. So we want to look at issues from the aspect of those microorganisms. As a matter of fact, to every human cell, there is also an equal microorganism. That is how much they are in their numbers in our bodies. We have our body is made up of about 100 trillion cells. And in the same vein, there are about 100 trillion microorganisms living in our bodies. They all perform all kinds of roles. They help in certain processes in the human body. So we have them all around us. You know, that's how I call them. They are our co-host. So they indwell this body with us. All right. And so every part of the body has gotten its own flora. Flora would refer to the population of microorganisms that could be present in any specific part of the human body. So every part, and there is a tolerable amount. I wish to take this off so that that noise wouldn't be coming. Where is it? I can't even find it. My desktop is so busy. Okay, so that I mean you have so many of these microorganisms. So they are there. They help the body to perform several functions. They help our body to move on. If they are not there, a lot of functions will not also take place or go well in our body. For example, there are some of them in our mouth. Some of them also help in the secretion of enzymes, which are like a precursor or the very, very the very, very beginning of the process for digestion to take place. I've stressed this, and I cannot say it enough, that we know that digestion does not start in our stomach. Digestion starts from our mouth. And so the idea that people have that when you take food, especially for those of us who are from West Africa, right? We enjoy the concept of swallow. And then when we take the morsel, we just put it in our mouth. We pat it a bit with those slimy soup. Either the okra, you have okra, you have ogbono soup, you have quite a number of them, and then people just swallow tom. The thing goes, you see somebody swallowing something, a portion as big as this, and you think his throat is bigger than that, everything just goes straight into the tummy. What you are doing is that you have actually deprived the body or the food the benefit of participating in the first process of digestion. So when you hear people demonize African foods, they tell you that our foods are fattening. That's the reason people are adding weight in Africa. And I say it is not the food per se. Two things could be responsible. One, the method of preparing the food. Two, the way we eat the food. So it's not even two. I mean, about four or five things I usually say. Okay, how the food is prepared, how it is grown, how it is preserved, how it is cooked, and how it is consumed. So most of us, I said I'm going to talk about that subsequently in the course of these 21 days. I'll be talking about mindful eating. How we have to be present-minded and not absent-minded when we eat. A lot of us do many other things because of time. Some of us are reading when we are eating. Some of us are watching the TV. Some of us are on our phones. That we are not giving eating the attention that it deserves most of the time. So in this particular case as well, the same thing that is happening here, that when we swallow food, we do not chew or masticate it properly, the food escapes the first process of digestion. There are certain secretions, certain enzymes that are found in our mouth that are released, alongside with a few microorganisms that are normal residents of our mouth. Now, I said that to say that this population should be normal when they are under control. For some people, the population is gone out of control. And when they go out of control, in the same way that they help in the process of digestion, they can also help in the initiation of several disease conditions. In the same way, they can also help in the initiation of several disease conditions. And so, what are we expected to do? Oral care is important. I will advise that attention be paid to certain smell that comes from our bodies. One of the smell is the smell from our mouth. A mouth odor could be an indication of several conditions in the human body. I dare say that if individuals are having issues with bad breath, or very uncomfortable odor coming from within their mouth, it's because something is intrinsically wrong from the inside. If somebody is not healthy on the inside, it's very likely that the odor that will be oozing from that person's mouth will not be a palatable one. And all of these will have a role to play with the hygiene or the condition, the sterility. It cannot be sterile. Let me not use the word sterility. If it's sterile, then it's also not a positive one. Or let me say the maintenance of the microbiome or the microbial flora of the mouth. So number one, several conditions can be reversed, especially those conditions that have to do with the mouth. They can be reversed through oil pulling. So oil pulling is a process of detoxification for the mouth. So like somebody who said she did it, I got that message that she did it, and that she felt a lot better, and then probably she's been dealing with that condition, and then it was over just by doing oil pulling this morning. That was what she said to me this morning. A lot of us too also have some other conditions that are different from that one. But the first point is that we have to understand that it can be a strong indication of what is wrong with us from within. And so it is one of the first places where we want to start looking into to make several amends and then bring about a reversal of such a matter. If anybody is dealing with mouth odor, I know a few people like that as well. It's one of the areas we want to look into. It's going to help to do that. And then your digestion is going to be better for people dealing with issues of weight loss. So your digestion will be better because once the food misses that first step, now the other steps, which one step is in the esophagus, there's a mix in the esophagus before the food gets into the stomach. In the stomach, all sorts are meant to mix together. Remember what I said, that the stomach is not referring to the whole region of our tummy, the way we call it. The stomach is a small sac that sits at the beginning of the gastrointestinal tract after the esophagus. So food settles there. And there is a coordination between the small intestine and the large intestine, in connection to the stomach as well. And there are valves also that opens and closes, that receives food and closes when food is no longer to be received. When these valves also lose, if they are losing, then acid reflux can happen. And you see some people, they eat, they are able to give you back everything that they have eaten. They can throw it back up. It's because there is some people, they like the hinge of a door. You see, some people's valves are already loose. So it doesn't close the way it should close. So even after eating, the valve should close, but it doesn't close. The food is pushed up again. There is no machine that is pumping food in the stomach. The way the whole process runs up to the liver, the kidney, and it's turned to nutrients, and then it circulates around the whole body. Everything is running within a chamber. And there is no, like the heart, blood is being pumped into the whole part of the body through the heart. The heart is a pumping machine for circulation. In the case of the food, it doesn't work that way. And things go down to the rectum, the waste is sieved, past the rectum, and then the waste is excreted. And the good materials are absorbed and they get uptaken. They are filtered, and then from filtration sent back into the heart, and then the heart pumps that as blood. And you see, that is the way the old mechanism runs. Okay? But, God forbid, people have valves that are not well closed. It's very possible. That's how you see them. The food is like they eat, the food comes back up. They feel it back in their throat. That is an abnormality that shouldn't happen. And one of the reasons that could happen is because probably digestion did not take place properly. So it couldn't mix very well. So the body could not handle it. Or number two, the valve I spoke about is loosed. So it gets opened again and food can push its way back up in the human body. Oil pulling is so essential, and I recommend it for healthy purposes. Like I said, if you're also dealing with other gastrointestinal issues, your gut health matters a lot. So much depends on your gut health. Your immune health is a function of your gut health. If your gut is not in order, it's going to affect your immune health. It will affect your immune response. It will affect the ability of your immune to effectively defend your body against an invasion or an infection, as the case may be. So what happens in your gut will automatically determine that. And for mothers and parents as well, it's something to take note of, because one of the areas where immunity, I won't call it heredity, heredity or hereditary, as the case may be, but babies kind of start up their own gut health through what they inherit from their mother, from the womb. That forms the basis, the foundation for the flora of their own gut. And so, if the mother does not have a balanced gut health, the baby is going to inherit it. So that is why in advanced countries, dental is taken seriously. Seriously. It's an insurance that everybody should have. Some people still don't take it seriously. They don't go for their oral check. They don't go for a dental check. They just believe, well, as long as my teeth, they are white, and then they are fine. You need to go wash it. You need to go clean it, so that you are sure that the health of that place is okay. Because if anything goes wrong from the mouth, it could affect every other thing in the entire human body. So we don't want certain things that shouldn't breathe there. We don't want them to start breathing. Some things that should not breathe, they shouldn't start to breathe there. So there's a need to pay attention to it. So that is why we can do many things, and most times we escape that aspect of pulling, oil pulling. It's something that we cannot keep escaping. It's something we cannot keep forgetting to do. So I would recommend maybe once in a week, it's an exercise that you should do, or once in 2 weeks, it's something you should do, and you will feel the effect. Now, those are short-term effects. The long-term effect of that is when you begin to feel the effect on your gut health, because it's going to make other processes in your body to go seamlessly. It's going to help your recovery process. If at all you're in a recovery process for any condition, it's going to make that recovery process to be faster and to be more effective. All these are things that oil pulling will do. And if you're trying to lose weight at all as well, It's a place to look and pay attention to. I've had people who will be like, I keep doing everything that you are asking us to do, yet they are not dropping the weight. They are not dropping the weight because from the mouth where things should pass and go through, there is an anomaly there that needed to be corrected. And if it is not corrected, they will just be wasting their time, which is the case in most cases for many people. So you want to start by detoxifying your mouth. We sometimes see our mouth as an external organ, but our mouth is on the inside, because only our lips are outside. Our mouth is on the inside. There's a need for us to understand that and also work and process our body in line with that fact. Once we keep doing that, like I said, do it once, maybe in 2 weeks or in a week or 3 weeks, depending on what you feel in your body or what you feel in your mouth. So it's going to help you and to go a long way. We want to help other people to help children, help people who are going to do this. They might not even know why they are feeling or having the symptoms which they are having. It's going to be to their advantage to start looking in that direction. Okay? So having said that, I want to talk about, before we close again today, I still want to continue about the DAR circle. We're supposed to have a video played on what are the meals for detoxification. What are the meals that support detoxification? Because there are definitely meals that we can take that will support detoxification, which is the first thing we do in the morning. And then we said some of these meals are most likely, most preferably, they should be raw food. And raw food, we mean smoothies, we mean juices, vegetables, salads, plant-based milk or plant-derived milk, as the case may be, and that we should avoid cooked meals in the early hours of the day, especially for our breakfast, because the body is going through a process called detoxification. Right. Now, the next phase is assimilation. And so you want to look at what are the foods that are good for assimilation. Assimilation is a phase where we can have cooked meals. Why? Because at that stage, the body is trying to adapt nutrients and convert them to usable methods that the body can easily uptake and use for its own purposes, the various functions the body would carry out. Tomorrow, we are going to listen to that video on what are those foods that we can actually eat that can help assimilation. In the same vein, there are also foods that we also have to eat before we go to bed. We call them bedtime meals. What are the kind of food that we can eat before bedtime? If you can pay attention to all of these things and do them, you're going to see drastic, very effective changes in your system. I remember sharing this with us at the beginning of this, and today again I had another person while in consultation. This is even an autistic case. The child is actually, they have a 5-year-old, a 6-year-old autistic child. And then, like I said, normally when orders are placed, it takes like 2 weeks in some cases, 1 week before they get those supplements that I recommend. So in most cases, the first 2 weeks, what most people do are just to make changes, make dietary changes and lifestyle changes, which is what this woman just did on her child. And when she was telling me, she said for the first time, the boy was calm. He could concentrate, which is a serious issue with autistic children. Sometimes it's a lot difficult to be able to get them to focus and concentrate. There are about 4 things that we usually want to look out for. There is this habit of them not being able to socialize. When they are hungry, they are frustrated, they express the frustration in a very aggressive and negative way. Ability to also focus and concentrate for a long time is another one. Then there could be some impediment or impairment in terms of speech and learning disabilities too can happen. Those are some of the features that we see. And so while treating them, we want to pay attention to these as make them like KPIs so that we measure how effective the treatment is. So the mother was like, just 2 weeks. What did you do? Nothing. I changed the diet of that boy as you recommended it. So the point I'm trying to make from there is that a whole lot can be achieved just through diet adjustment and lifestyle modification. A lot can be achieved. And I see these every day. When I hear people who come back with testimonies to say this had happened, this had happened, one of the few areas that I always want to pay attention to and which they are always eager to share is that something changed in their diet. They changed their diet according to the advice, they changed their lifestyle according to the advice, and just like from nowhere, the body begins to adjust. The body begins to adjust. This adjustment brings about a whole lot of change. Right. So there are food that you can eat at bedtime. These are meals at bedtime. Tomorrow we are going to be watching a video as well in that direction that will discuss those meals that are comfortable and suitable for bedtime, because when we are going to sleep at night, the phase, that circle, the DL circle, the phase the body is in the phase of rejuvenation, which is the phase where the body wants to repair. The body wants to fix things that are broken down or destroyed. The body wants to replace those ones that should be replaced, as the case may be, right? If we do not feed appropriately, instead of the body to be focused on rejuvenation, it's just going to be doing the work of digestion. We're trying to break down the food that has been given to it. And so many people, when they do not have proper digestion, it's a build-up actually. People that keep eating late at night, they keep going to bed. Some, it gets to the point where they can't sleep anymore. Then, they keep counting the ceilings. And for some people, they just have to throw up everything they have eaten if they are going to be comfortable. All of this is because they are not eating food that is in accordance with what the body is doing at that time, at its peak. So we are going to advocate and advise that, look, let your meal follow this pattern. If your meal can follow this pattern, then you'll be fine. And this we'll be dealing with tomorrow, God willing. All right? So we enter into day 8 tomorrow. Just like I said, this whole program is almost over. The moment we enter day 10, we've already crossed almost halfway. We just have a few days more to go. So I want to encourage you and encourage us to keep doing this. Don't give up yet. Keep pushing. Show up in the morning for the sessions, for the fitness sessions. I have to show up twice. 11 o'clock is the time for the UK time here, and 4 a.m. is the time for the US, Canada, and I have to show up for the two. Right? I believe that we all can show up and keep showing up for the sake of our health, so that we can have a better and a healthier 2021. All right, everybody. That is where I'm going to stop today till we meet in the morning tomorrow at our various 6 a.m., 7 a.m., and 6 a.m. Thank you very much. We appreciate the time. See you tomorrow morning. Does anyone have a question about what I discussed? I don't think so. Any question from any other topic that you want us to talk about? I don't think so.
The question yesterday, about yesterday.
I didn't hear that. You are breaking.
The question of radiation yesterday you were talking about.
Okay.
Every the years, what are people doing that?
You need to say that again. Seriously, we are losing you. Hearing.
In the air. What are the
hearing? Bluetooth.
Ringing in the ear. Let it cut out.
Okay, ringing in the ears. When somebody's ear is ringing, when somebody's having a ringing in the ears, right? Is that what you are trying to say?
Yes.
Oh, okay. So.
Yes.
All right. Are you saying that happens because of radiation?
I'm asking, what can we do holistically?
All right. So, we want to look at the cause of that. Where did that come from? How did it start? Right. So, because ringing in the ear is one of the symptoms that people that have COVID-19 come up with after treatment. After they treated COVID-19, some people begin to have ringing in their ears. And that one is not the solution to that one is not long. It's not in America. Like they say, it's not in Obodo Ibo. All you just have to do is to take an immunomodulator. And what is a common immunomodulator that I've often spoke about? Yep. Anybody who's going to remind me? The common immunomodulator, reishi mushroom, the Ganoderma. I do recommend that anyone going to the treatment for COVID-19, whatever method, whatever route you take for the treatment of COVID-19, you should balance it up with the use of reishi Ganoderma because of the incidence of cytokine storm. The cytokine response will definitely come and it will eat and bite any part of the human body. So you want to be careful so that you don't start some other medications for issues that arose out of the COVID-19 infection. I talk about that as well while mentioning the fact that there are people who come up with mental health issues. For me right now, when I have cases of people with mental health issues, if it happened anywhere around the incidence of COVID, and when I say of COVID, I'm not following what they are saying that this was the time it was reported in your country. I don't care about that time. It could be the time it happened in Wuhan. Somebody from Wuhan has been to your country before your country even began talking about it at all. You know how long it took that thing was eaten, right? So whenever I look at the history and we begin to look down, the moment I begin to see like it's something around that period, is one of the first things I really want to hit in the head and recommend treatment, holistic treatment or natural treatment or healing or remedy for, instead of you going to start up on antipsychotic and antidepressants. Right. So that is one. So if that is not the case, assuming that that was not what happened, the person did not have COVID, so it's not a symptom of COVID. I'm not saying COVID, there are so many other things that could be responsible. One of the first few things I would want to recommend is to have the person detox properly. It could be number one, radiation, like she mentioned, which could be an combination of it, and then you have to detox of radiation effects in the human body. Chlorella is a very good substance or supplement for that purpose. There are also some other ones that can also be used to detox of radiation or some other heavy metals. It's most likely you have an accumulation which is responsible for that feeling. So we want to deal with that as a matter of urgency before we now begin to troubleshoot and look for other areas that could be carrying an infection. The tea tree oil, the tree tea oil is a kind of oil also that can be applied in case the ringing is a function of an infection. It can be applied topically in this case. All right. So those are two pathways that I would suggest the person will follow as an immediate intervention. So if none of these resolves it, they will now begin to look for other things. Of course, a visit to your ENT is also highly recommended, right? You don't want to just begin to say you want to take natural stuff without knowing what is wrong. They have the equipment, they are trained to see. So go meet the person who can see. So if they see and they see nothing wrong, then we can now come back and say, well, so their own function is over. Now let's begin to look at what else could have been wrong. But like I said, I will first want to advocate that the person will have a detoxification, a part of which we have to start with, the chlorella that I mentioned. Okay. All right. Somebody's just sending me a message here. You went in search of sea salts. I'm saying okay, there are about 3. My advice, please, if you cannot go to an African store, Yeah, see, this number is foreign. I mean, this looks like a number from the US on sea salt. If you cannot go to an African store around you, look for a Chinese store, a Chinese supermarket. They are going to have sea salt. All these sea salts that are packaged and labeled by these big companies have been refined. A lot of them have been processed. So we are not just advocating sea salt. It must be unrefined sea salt. Unrefined sea salt. So all these big names, I know them, but don't trust them. That's one thing I'd like you to know. Please don't trust them. And I also think I've mentioned it before, especially for people who live in Europe, in America, and the likes. Try to patronize businesses that are small, products that are made by smaller companies, because usually, especially when it comes to buying organic stuff and stuff like that, usually it's difficult to compromise on quality. They don't have what it takes to compromise. How do I mean? I won't mention name. A big conglomerate, there's a guy in Nigeria in those days who would tell his bankers, we ask them, if we break this rule, how much is the fine? Say fine is $1 million. CBN will fine us $1 million. If we flout the rule and go ahead with the deal, how much is the profit? Oh, profit is $200 million. The next thing we say, then break the rule. At the end of the day, $200 million minus $1 million. Does it not make sense? You have $199 million in your pocket. I won't mention the name of the person. So, a microfinance bank cannot afford to be charged $1 million. So most of the small businesses, they cannot afford to flout the rules because they can clamp on them and shut them down. They will be gone forever. They cannot afford the fees of huge classic, is it what do you call it right now? Those lawsuits, you know. What do you call it again? Mrs. Baba, you want to help me out?
Lawsuit. It's lawsuit.
A lawsuit, right? Yeah. Like, when you have 100 people suing you for $5 million in compensation, they are gone. So they don't want to stand that chance. So they ensure that everything is delivered according to what is on the label. If they tell you it's organic, believe them. They can't afford that. So I usually tell people that befriend those local producers, local manufacturers, local farmers. Befriend them. And instead of running towards the big names, if you know how many class action suits are on relatives for so many of them are even used to it. And that's the case with the case of the vaccine. When you asked me about the vaccine, and I was telling you, I'm sorry, I said 400 kids. There were about 14 kids who died, not 400. About 14 kids who died, according to what they said. But do you know how that case ended? It's pathetic. And it's the same. Just go online, go on Wikipedia, and go and study that case of that company with Kaduna State. Is it Kano State in Nigeria? Go and read how it ended. Do you know how it ended? At the end of the day, they could not even find the files. The files of those children who died and their families. No money was paid to them. No compensation was paid. And the Attorney General of Nigeria, who took the case on his head, this company in America had to go and hire people to go and investigate and dig up cases against that Attorney General so that they can pressure him to drop the case when he will refuse to be bribed. So when I see the way our people depend on these people, I shake my head. They don't care. Those kids are gone. Their families are gone. Those are people who died. The other people in their hundreds were people who were affected further by that vaccine. And they were not told, they were carrying out any experiment on them. Where can we get reishi mushroom? Yeah, go online and get reishi mushroom. You can check it online. There are some in tab form. There are some in powdered form. I will advise that you get it in powdered form if you can. The tab form is also good in tablets. They are also good.
Amazon has it.
Yeah, it's on Amazon. Yeah, even if you're in Nigeria, it's on Jumia. If you're in Nigeria, it's on Jumia. There are several distributors. But like I said, all of this will be a thing of the past shortly by God's grace. I think today we succeeded in integrating all the online platforms for which people can place order for our products. So you will be able to buy them, just place order for them and buy them at a very affordable cost. I've looked at all these things that people buy. There are times people send me the link and show me the product. We don't have sea salt yet. The day I know somebody who can package sea salt, I will tell the person to package it and brand it for us as well, as long as I'm very sure of the process. But for now, just go to, yeah, it's coming. It's very easy. It's almost here. It's almost ready. Yeah, so just go to Jumia, go to Amazon, and then they are going to you get it there. Our products should be on Amazon. Yeah, you should be able to get on Amazon as a platform. They will work on that and ensure that they go through it. And well, am I looking for investors? I don't know. I'm not looking for investors. I'm looking for somebody who can run with the vision so that I can go and keep doing the other things I'm doing. If you are led, if you think you want to do that kind of business, please, you can consult me. We can discuss it. And then if you are passionate about it, you're a strong marketer. I don't want to be a marketer. I don't want to be coming on your faces and be telling you this is what I'm selling. I think to a large extent it's a distraction, but this is a charge of necessity. I had shied away from this for a long time, especially for people who do multi-level marketing. I don't want to get involved in selling any product, but seeing the demand, seeing what people go through, that's two. Number three, even the integrity of what they buy is not what we can ascertain. And then to a large extent, it begins to cast aspersion on, do you know what you are saying? When you say, go and buy this, it should give you this result. And they buy, doesn't give them the result. And somebody who we tell, go and buy paracetamol. And you take paracetamol, headache persists. You wonder, why? So it's like, let's check the paracetamol the person bought. Is it original? Is it real? Does it meet up with the standard? All of this you can't vouch for, So that is where we're going to stop today. I think I was able to answer your question sufficiently. So again, we'll meet tomorrow morning. Thank you for taking out your time to be here. God bless you. We'll see you tomorrow, 6 a.m. and 7 a.m. for those who are in Nigeria. Have a nice evening. And for those who are still in the day, enjoy the rest of your day. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you, doctor.
You're welcome. Thank you. Cole Menon, now your face be this. All right. Thank you, everybody. So that is where we stop the show for today. Thanks for joining us. We meet again tomorrow, same time. Bye.